I'm Shanna. I'm a medical student and I like to talk a lot about pre-med advice and then hopefully provide mentorship to anyone who doesn't have any. Got a package from a friend who watches my videos and was not expecting it to be so huge. It's a microphone! I've been hearing complaints that my videos are way too quiet. I'm sorry guys, I have a really quiet voice, but here's the game changer. What did you guys get up to? I was studying mostly for the USMLE and I just kind of checked out. I think as you guys know. Short, my USMLE got delayed. It got cancelled because of the surge in COVID that's going on in the States, I think, and also technical issues with Prometric. That's life, and I don't really feel like complaining about it, even though, I mean, I complained about it for the first day with my accountability buddy, but other than that, I try not to complain about it because, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world and people whose lives have been much more impacted by COVID, and so I don't want to complain because I'm already so blessed. You guys might see the interview from Kay Young, either released before this or after this, but she took 2 gap years, and I thought it was a really nice idea that she had taken some time between undergrad to do the things that she's always wanted to do, but she wouldn't have time to do in med, and how I didn't have time to do that because I went from high school, I went straight to undergrad, and undergrad I went straight to medical school, and I just didn't have any time to really explore. And sometimes I feel like with med school it's just so frantic that I get a chance to do much, and so I feel like this is actually a blessing in disguise if I'm lucky to reframe it. You know, very privileged that my life is not super impacted. It is in some ways, like my schooling has been delayed and stuff like that, but you know, very minimally compared to other people. I am trying to reframe it in a positive way, that I can just see this as a chance to take a break, take a rest. But really I'm not taking a rest because I am type A and I like doing projects, but this is kind of the time for me to do some stuff that I've always wanted to do. So for example, giving back to mentorship more, do a little bit more creative work. I'd like to do a little bit more writing. Now that I have time, let me know when you see if there's a big difference in this voiceover. I wanted to say a big thank you to my friend who gifted this to me. I'm always really touched by all my friends that actually watch my videos, and they actually take the time to give me some feedback. Like, they're like, your lighting sucks, your sound sucks. I'm thankful to you guys that are watching. So yeah, I'm gonna go work on some research. Said it's my week off, but people always see like this big divide between what's work and what's fun, but for me, I think that line is really blurred, and I genuinely enjoy my research. I want to do it in my free time, not just for the resume. I think that's one of the biggest joys, is when you can find that your main job is just super fun to you, and you're okay with it leaking a bit into your personal life. Anyways, thanks again. I'm gonna cut my hair and I'm gonna color it. Joico color butter red, Joico color butter, it's pink apparently. I just opened it, smells good. Is there anything you guys did that is kind of out of your comfort zone? So for me, that was dyeing my hair, just because I always felt like I wanted to look like a, you know, good girl with, you know, normal natural hair, and I didn't really feel like it fit my image. You have to look a certain way to fit a certain image, not to buy into the image that only if you have beautiful dyed balayage hair that you're beautiful, and if you're not, it's not. It's more of, does this make you feel you're most confident, you're most amazing? I feel like we always under-perceive ourselves. I was talking to a couple friends about how we perceive ourselves and our strengths. I don't know if some of you watching me feel like I have everything together. Reality is, I feel like my life is so not together in comparison to a lot of people. Really coming in, I just felt very less than because I had less knowledge, I had less research experience, I'm not as smart. In our very first block, we had a lot of genetics and stuff, so I actually didn't take any college genetics. I remember just being so dumb because I couldn't remember all the different phases of meiosis, and I just happened to have a group of people. I think one of them did masters in this topic, like a cell bio. Another one was a TA for this, like college genetics. Some were tutors and majored in biology and genetics, and so there was me, just very ignorant when it comes to cell bio. At some point I overcame that in realizing that it's a good thing to be surrounded by these people who are so much better at it than I am, because I get to learn it, and you know, it makes me humble, and there'll be something else that I'm good at. Everyone has these moments where they just don't feel smart enough or enough compared to other people. So this shirt is Pooh. My friends and I were a Winnie the Pooh crew this Halloween, and we did these shirts. I thought I would just have no social life and no fun once I got to med school, but I actually feel like I've been having more fun than I ever had. Definitely time to socialize if you make time for it. About how I burned out really badly and then how I'm working to get myself out of it and get myself more motivated. So as a backstory, leading up we had a final exam, and so I was studying really hard and trying to also study for our USMLE Step 1, which is a medical licensing exam. And I just studied, and then I was doing lots of research, and I was trying to do lots of YouTube editing. So if you guys have watched my other vlog, which I'll figure out how to link somehow, I was kind of waking up really early, starting studying at like 8, or if I woke up at 6:30, 7:30, whatever, and I would keep studying, work out, study, and then I would stop studying around like midnight or 1 o'clock, and then I would start editing videos. So I would edit videos until from like 1 to 3 o'clock, and then pass out at 3 o'clock, wake up and do it again. So I was really productive and producing a ton of videos that you guys probably watched already. I was getting more and more tired, and when I was more tired, I was unable to get as much done. So the same time it would have taken me to do a question bank, maybe it would have taken me an hour. It was taking me double that time, and it was getting longer and longer as I was getting more and more exhausted. And waking up not excited to work, and usually I'm so excited to learn medicine, I'm so excited to work on my research, but that's like a really big warning sign for me. So some of the mistakes I made were giving myself way too many things to do each day. So it's really great, I think, to be ambitious with how many things you want to accomplish and always want to be more productive. My girl Vina always advises, instead of going full peak and the next day you're just incapable because you burned everything, all your energy up the last day, to go more at a moderate pace so that every day you can do a little something. Because when you're working and grinding really hard on those days, usually for me it feels okay when I'm actually grinding, but the day after when I'm being unproductive because I've felt really burned out, it actually feels so bad and I feel so guilty for being unproductive, and then it just becomes a cycle because in the next day I feel like I have to be ultra productive to make up for it. I think it's more sustainable long term to go moderate, so that's what I'm trying to work on this coming week. Hey guys, I just came back from hanging out with my friend Vina. We went over to a park and we had a picnic. It was really nice to have a really long catch up. It's one of my bestest friends, and we went through the whole pre-med school process, so that's really special to have someone. I'm just about to join my friend Jamie's podcast by a bunch of her classmates in pharmacy. I think it's called the Daily Dose Podcast, and they talk about a whole bunch of different things from a pharmacy student's perspective. So I'm excited and really happy that they invited me to join them on an episode to talk about interprofessional collaboration, and we're going to talk about different ways that intercollaboration can be great, how to do it better.
Today we are introducing a whole host of firsts for this podcast.
But most of my major interprofessional collaboration learning has really been in volunteering outside of school, as well as some of the volunteering I did prior to medicine. For one example, I was volunteering with some nurses, paramedics, firefighters, physicians, and it was really cool to see all the different perspectives. For example, the firefighters and paramedics, they have a more in the scene, low resource way of approaching things, but some of the nurses and the physicians are used to having many things at their disposal and many sources of equipment, and so they have a completely different approach. But it's really great to have both together to best manage patients, and so I really felt inspired by that in research work I used to do. Besides just health professions, we do collaborate with some people in different fields. And it's very interesting because everyone has different priorities, so you have to kind of balance that, because a clinician, I assume like a pharmacist as well, would prioritize everything about the patient and maybe not prioritize maybe things like numbers. Or I think that's a really great example of interprofessionalism done well, where they respect the skill set or they respect the scope of each other's care very well. I felt like I learned a lot about pharmacy, and I hope I can continue to learn more about the role of pharmacists. And I'm like, this just came in the mail. Let's open it up. Ooh. On the sutures. Fishy thing, so that you can put the sutures in. One of my classmates who's moving away out of town. I'm choked because we spent all our last 2 years together, but I'm super happy for her. It's an afternoon at the park. So many dogs and cute kids. I'm on my way to the Apple store because I accidentally spilled a whole cup of water on my laptop last night. I'm working with a team of different students, and one of our students has a name that's quite gender neutral. Supervisor sent an email referring to all of us as female, and that's totally understandable because they've actually never met each other. I've been referring to this person once this way and it was never corrected. So I was very surprised when I met this person. And then I realized, oh, this person's male. Supervisor still hasn't met him. So he sent out an email introducing us to one of the other physicians. I did not know what to do with the mistake. And I was kind of waffling, like, do I correct it? But he's my supervisor. I don't want him to feel like I'm embarrassing him. But also the learning that I've been doing about Black Lives Matter is that it's on us to speak up when we can, because it might be really uncomfortable or awkward for the person that the name was mistaken or whatever the situation is to speak up, so we should speak up. Got my laptop fixed. I decided to treat myself. I picked up the Whaley palette. Whaley is just like this really popular Asian American YouTuber, like really inspired by the work of Asian American YouTubers in the beauty industry, because prior to that there's very little representation of Asian American in the beauty industry, so I wanted to support that. I normally listen to Chinese radio when I drive because I want to improve my Chinese. I got really motivated when in family practice there's a lot of patients that speak mainly Mandarin or Cantonese, and while a lot of them do understand a lot of English, it's just a lot nicer when you can communicate in your preferred language, so I really want to do that with Black Lives Matter. I've been trying to educate myself. I attended a seminar for women in medicine. It was really inspiring. They had a few people that were willing to speak about it. I think what's really important is that it's not the job of anyone in a minority group to be educating us, so definitely that's not their job and it's our own job to educate ourselves, but it does just give more perspective and depth for me, not having that lived experience too. So I was really inspired and grateful that some of these physicians were willing to share their experience. We have notes, and so I'll share them in the links below. I think the biggest takeaways for that was, again, like, it's not their job to educate because they already have this burden of the experience that is really stressful for them to be on them to always be speaking out if something racist is being said, or it's on them to be educating the rest of us. So it's our job as people that are not the person being discriminated against to speak up when we can. And I didn't realize that just doing something as small as that could make such a big difference. I don't really feel like a right to be speaking a lot on this because this is really something you should go to someone else more experienced and knowledgeable on this. I encourage you to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to just lend my support. Local shop in my city. Also using these kind of don't use up masks that should be used by or can be used by healthcare workers.